Okay, hi, I'm Keith Holland, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about encounters I have with customers as far as their guitars go. Quite often, people will come in, let's say, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm going out of tune on my guitar, so I need new tuners." So it's always important for me to question exactly what the problem is and try to establish if that's indeed the situation. Honestly, it's rarely a problem with tuners, but sometimes maybe the strings might be binding in the nut, or maybe they're just old strings. Maybe the magnets on magnetic pickups are pulling on the strings. Maybe the intonation is off. There's a lot of factors involved that could actually be, and sometimes these problems may add up to a big problem. A lot of small problems adding up to a big problem. And in that vein, I would like to talk today about guitar tone. And quite often, when I start talking tone with customers, right away their knee-jerk reaction is, "Well, I want to change my pickups out." And that can be, that can solve the problem often, but there are other factors involved with tone that are almost just as important, in some cases maybe more important than the pickups. And one of those areas I'd like to discuss today is the bridge on the guitar. One thing I've found over the years is the mass of the bridge, or the build of the bridge, or the saddles on the bridge, the way the strings are attached to the bridge, so on and so forth, can really make a difference in tone. So let's take the two major Fender guitars to start with right away today, and let's first of all talk about a Stratocaster. Stratocaster bridge on most of your Stratocasters is a bridge that is a vibrato, and this is a classic vintage style bridge here. The two main areas that you want to concentrate on as far as tone and stability on this bridge is the hardened steel stamped saddles that have really been the pronunciation of a vintage tone coming out of those. Also, the block where the strings go through here, back here, that should be cut out of a piece of steel to be like the classic tone that you see from the vintage guitars of yesteryear. And those guitars, the bridges on those guitars were extremely important to the tone of the instruments, and that's why a lot of those instruments over the years have maintained their value and so on and so forth, because of the tone of the instrument more than anything else. And so these classic bridges, and we use these on our custom guitars that we build here, are hardened steel block, hardened steel saddles, and that's very important. What you'll see in a lot of guitars these days, we end up replacing the bridges. You'll see these zinc composite or pot metal style cut down type blocks, and then the saddles are also they're less than desirable materials. They're just cheap bent metals that kind of don't really do what these hardened steel saddles might do. So that's one thing that I do quite often. A person will come in with their not so much inexpensive guitar, but you'll see these on some of the import guitars that are out there, but they don't have a lot of value to the instruments, but they do have a good body and a good neck, and maybe the pickups may not be so good, but the first thing I always try to talk people into, rather than replacing those pickups, is to try to improve the tone more with replacing the bridge. There's going to be a lot of things that happen when we replace these inferior bridges with just a better bridge, and it's not a big cost difference to do that. You can do it along with the setup just for the cost of the part. and it can make a big difference in your tone. So that's something to really consider. Let's take a look at the bridges. Now this is a Callahan bridge. I like to put the Callahan bridges on nice guitars that, like for instance the guitars we build here, I like to put these on here on my custom guitars, as well as when people come in here with higher end guitars, maybe they might be looking for that just ultimate tone. Well, Bill Callahan makes these bridges, and he makes everything in his machine shop. And they're finely machined, they're all the right materials, and they have something, they have a mojo and a vibe to them, and just a feel to them that is just beyond anything else that's made out there. They're a little bit more expensive, but not that much more expensive, and they can really make a difference in the instrument. They can turn a very good instrument into just an excellent instrument. So I highly recommend these Callahan bridges. A couple of things, a couple of changes that this is a vibrato bridge. It's a replacement, and very similar to what PRS puts on their guitars. And I'm a big PRS bridge fan. There's a lot of things I like about them. They are not vintage at all. It's so you know you don't always think vintage when you're playing guitar. You know, sometimes you're thinking modern. Sometimes you're thinking, well, you know, I need to use the vibrato, and I need more sustain. I need more of this, more of that. And maybe you're thinking, not thinking so much about the vintage vibe, but maybe just more of a modern idea. And I think that these guys have really done a good job of making a bridge that stays in tune very well. It's a good vibrato. It kind of floats up off the body a bit, so you've got a kind of a floating mechanism going there. It has a tendency to come back, if it's installed properly, it has a tendency to come back to the same spot every time, which is important to staying in tune. And it's made out of very good materials. So I highly recommend these for the guy who's really using his vibrato a lot, and maybe is not so much concerned with a vintage vibe, but just overall high quality vibrato. Then there are these 2-point bridges. There's a lot of these on the market. Wilkinson makes them. A lot of people make them with just 2 fulcrum points rather than the 6 screws that mount the guitar. There are considerations when you have just 2 points of mounting. When you just have the 2 points, you might have more of a problem maybe with wear on those edges, but they can work very well for a long period of time, and there's a lot of use for these. You can float these, and you know, it's just a step down from a true locking vibrato where you have a locking nut and a locking bridge. It might stay in tune a little bit better for a lot of people. Also, this particular bridge here has a little wheel that the string glides over, so that the wheel actually moves with the string, so the string may not catch up into the edge of that saddle slot there as readily as vintage style would. And so that's something to consider as a 2-point type mount on the bridge, and that can be a nice modern feature of a bridge. But you know, always the steel blocks here, I think, are the important thing. Cut out of a piece of steel. I think you'll find that sustain and tone will be greatly improved as long as you stick with those features.